Now to some heartbreaking news. Our nation saw its deadliest mass shooting in years when a Louisiana man shot and killed 8 children this morning. Tonight we're learning more about that gunman, Shamar Elkins, who was the father of 7 of those 8 slain children.
You could see in his eyes, nothing behind the eyes, dead behind the eyes, no soul, NPC, non-player character. He didn't have one.
It started before dawn. Before the sun warmed the quiet streets. Before the city of Shreveport began to wake. Most people were still asleep. But inside one home, something unimaginable was about to happen. Something so shocking that it would leave an entire community frozen in grief. In just a few short minutes, lives would be lost, families destroyed, and a city forced to confront a tragedy no one could have predicted. At the center of it all was a father, a man named Shamar Elkins. And what happened that morning would become one of the most heartbreaking cases the city of Shreveport, Louisiana, had ever seen. But like many tragedies, the warning signs were subtle. Family members would later say he had been struggling emotionally, mentally, privately. They said he sometimes spoke about feeling overwhelmed by life, about feeling trapped by problems he didn't know how to solve. But no one imagined those struggles would lead to the horror that was about to unfold. Just days before the tragedy, the family had celebrated Easter. Photos were shared online. Pictures of children dressed in bright colors. Smiling faces. Moments that looked warm and happy. Before the tragedy, there was an ordinary life. Before the sirens and headlines, there were children laughing in the yard. There were family photos, birthday parties, school mornings, bedtime stories. To many people who knew him, Shamar Elkins appeared to be just another young father trying to navigate life. He was 31 years old. He had once served in the Louisiana Army National Guard before leaving the service several years earlier. And most importantly, he was the father of 7 children. 7 young lives who looked to him for safety. 7 children who trusted him. The final normal day passed quietly. Children played. Neighbors went about their routines. Nothing seemed unusual. The neighborhood was calm. Just another weekend in Shreveport. Inside the home, the children moved through their evening like any other night. Some watched television. Some played games. Others fell asleep early. Parents and relatives talked. The world felt ordinary. But somewhere in the darkness of that night, something inside Shamar Elkins had shifted. Something that would erupt before the sun came up.
To anyone scrolling past those images, it looked like a normal family enjoying a holiday together. But behind the scenes, things were beginning to fall apart. Shamar Elkins and his wife were separating. Their marriage had reached a breaking point. According to relatives, tension had been building for weeks. Arguments, emotional distance, a growing sense that something inside him was changing.
The couple was scheduled to appear in court the following day to move forward with their divorce. No one knew that the situation would never reach that courtroom. The 8th was a young relative visiting the home. The victims ranged from toddlers to preteens, children who had barely begun their lives. Some had been asleep when the shooting began. Others had tried to run. One child was discovered on the roof of the home, apparently trying to escape the chaos below. Another young survivor managed to jump from the roof and escape, suffering injuries but surviving the nightmare. For the officers on the scene, the sight was devastating. Even seasoned detectives struggled to comprehend what had happened. The house that should have been a place of safety had become the center of unimaginable violence. The first shots rang out early Sunday morning, just after 6 a.m. Neighbors heard the sound and immediately sensed something was terribly wrong. Panic followed. Calls to police began flooding emergency lines. A woman had been shot. When officers arrived, they discovered a chaotic scene. The wounded woman was rushed for medical treatment. But what officers discovered next was far worse. As investigators moved through nearby homes connected to the family, they began to uncover the full scope of the tragedy. Inside one house, officers found the bodies of children. 8 children. Each one lifeless. Each one taken in an act that stunned even the most experienced investigators. 7 of the children were Shamar Elkins' own sons and daughters. Back in Shreveport, investigators worked through the day and into the night. 3 crime scenes had to be processed. Detectives carefully documented every detail, every shell casing, every room, every heartbreaking discovery. Meanwhile, the community struggled to understand what had happened. The pursuit eventually reached the nearby city of Bossier City. There, officers confronted him. What happened next unfolded in seconds. Shots were fired. When it was over, Shamar Elkins was dead. The chase was over. But the tragedy was only beginning. As police began piecing together the timeline, the shocking truth emerged. The man responsible was the children's own father, Shamar Elkins. After the shootings, he fled the scene. Authorities quickly launched a massive search. Police vehicles flooded the streets. Sirens echoed across neighborhoods. Residents watched from their windows as patrol cars sped past. The manhunt didn't last long. Soon after the shootings, Elkins reportedly hijacked a vehicle at gunpoint and fled the area. Police tracked the vehicle as it moved across parish lines. As investigators searched for answers, they began examining Elkins' recent behavior. Relatives revealed troubling conversations. They said he had spoken about feeling overwhelmed, about struggling with dark thoughts. One family member recalled a chilling statement he had made weeks earlier. He said that sometimes people don't come back from their demons. At the time, it sounded like a cry for help. Young children, brothers, sisters, cousins. Their ages ranged from just 3 years old to 11. Lives filled with possibility all gone in a matter of minutes. News spread quickly. Neighbors gathered in small groups, speaking in hushed voices. Parents held their children a little tighter that night. Local leaders called it one of the worst tragedies the city had ever experienced. Prayer vigils were organized. Candles flickered in the evening air as families came together to mourn the children whose lives had been taken. One by one, the names of the victims were released. The survivor who escaped from the roof carries memories no child should ever have. Memories of fear, of chaos, of running for his life. The city of Shreveport will likely carry the scars of this tragedy for years. For the surviving family members, life will never be the same. Hospital rooms replaced living rooms. Funerals replaced birthday parties. Toys were left untouched. Beds remained empty. For the mother and relatives of the children, the grief is immeasurable. No parent should ever have to bury their child. And yet, multiple tiny coffins now stand as a painful reminder of what happened that morning. In the end, one question remains. How could a morning that started like any other turn into something so devastating? How could a father become the source of such unimaginable loss? Perhaps some answers will never fully come, but the memory of those children deserves to be remembered, not just as victims of a tragedy, but as young lives filled with laughter, dreams, and love. Lives that should have had many more years ahead. What do you think led to this heartbreaking tragedy? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to hear more true crime stories that uncover the mysteries behind real cases, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Because sometimes the most disturbing stories are the ones that really happened.